Greetings, I'm Kijun and this is Karaz-a-Karak. So first turn, not really much to do. We are prophetizing our runette mix, sneaking around with Fadrim towards south because that's the entrance to cave. I did initial scout and unfortunately it doesn't look like we have... we do have some farmland mountain. So there are some mountains on the surface, but the other sure way of us getting our sides would be to go underground as quickly as possible. Underground caves, well, as if there were surface caves, got somewhat nerfed recently. They have lower population, so the income is not going to be as tasty when going there. We are starting our basic recruitment, obviously with our horrible scales, it's not very impressive. Getting round or two of Runesmith apprentices before even considering any other mage, so we get at least those couple extra resources. It may be the breakpoint we need. Pathetic. And yeah, two cleansed dwarves to assist with expansion. If we take our fights right, the starting army can go really decent length. Of course, get usually absolutely annihilated by opponents' expansion parties, but let's hope for not a bump. And let's start getting first rune guard because, yeah, resources are a pain. Now, since it's the first turn and there's not going to be that much going on, let's take a look at our opponents. So, elves. For elf, what we are mainly afraid of are some very scary potential super combatants. They're basically out of the gate, they can almost expand on their own. But with some proper bless and kitting, they can do very well against our troops, even our sacreds. Although maybe the sacreds not so much as general troops. Fortunately, we will rely mainly on sacreds. Wild riders are pretty spooky too. They can really stack their offense quite a lot. But again, they're sacred, not as scary. Sisters, I think they're slightly weaker than wild riders. The main thing we're scared from wood elves will be Way Watchers. The longer game goes on, the more he will have them. And the reason is because Way Watcher longbow is armor piercing rapid fire weapon, and in the forests they get what little bit extra strength. Doesn't have friendlies, is actually very relevant once we clash in melee. Precision is a joke. So yeah, but the fact it's rapid fire armor piercing is the spookiest part, and because of how slow our troops will be, we'll be getting peppered a shit ton. Nehekhara, there's a couple things. Mainly the longer game goes on, there's a certain breakpoint where they'll be very hard, and maybe the longer event goes, then it will be easier. But for the early game, I pray to God he will not be relying on charioteers, because chariots or any other tramples will absolutely fucking destroy me. So that's the thing I'm most scared of. Their troops, I mean, they have good troops, but I'm not afraid of them with my Rune Guard. They can definitely make Tomb Kings into very heavy thugs, but even though they'll be trampling, if they get amidst my troops, then they'll get cut down. For their summons, Tomb Scorpions can be absolutely very spooky with a good bless. So that's a thing. They're durable and then they can be quite killy. For the later, worst things is they can be, of course, disgusting, but they have huge weakness, which is their crew. We can probably get rid of it rather easily. At the phase of the game they'll be coming out, I should have some good way of, I don't know, maybe Thunderers, maybe some spells that will just target AoE and get rid of the crew. But yeah, it will be mainly Tomb Scorpions, Charioteers. Ushapti can be very unpleasant giants, of course, but these are more of a late game threats. Let's try and get there to begin with. Bretonnia, of course, Heavy Calf. Heavy Calf is a huge pain for dwarves. Especially the Grain Lights, they're very scary if they get a good bless. But basically any of these three will also be difficult to deal with. Outside of my Sacreds, of course, because, well, the main issue would be them jumping on my backline, killing my commander, stuff like that, because I'm confident I will grind through the mundane troops with my Rune Guard without much issue. I mean, probably some losses on charge bonus to heavy lands. but the Green Lights, they can be pretty cracked with the blast, so these will be a greater issue. Now rats have a lot of threats for us, so basically all the weapon teams except of the Doomflayer, so fire throwers, lightning throwers, poison wind mortars. The sensor bursts are incredibly killy, so they are dangerous for me as well, plus again more poison wind globadiers. Ton of very scary stuff. It's a lot of AoE, so it hurts our formations more, and of course their mages can cast various tastes of warp lightning, so that's more shock damage. You know, I do have a little bit of shock res, it will help, but it's not enough to completely negate all of that, so yeah, Skaven pretty scary. Orcs, I'm not particularly worried about orcs. I think giant, if used properly, can really put a huge dent in my lines because of their AoE attacks. Otherwise, nobody really uses Goblin Wolf Charioteers. They probably could be very effective actually, but they're pretty squishy. But yeah, orcs I'm not particularly worried about. Maybe outside of the fact they'll be absolute tide of them, right? The green tide can devour. There can be just too many for me to kill quickly enough, and again, I might lose just commanders during the fight. So Bone Nose Tribe, I'm not very experienced playing against. They're rather relatively not commonly picked. I'm not sure they're that weak. It just I think maybe people just don't like them as much. Again, it's the giant. Again, Orc Cav, same as with Blackrock, isn't particularly scary. Charioteers. They might have some cute stuff going on, but I'm really not sure. I'm not really worried about them either. Middenheim. This is literally first time I see Middenheim in the game ever since I started playing the mod in the -5, so I have no clue what to expect. They do have Order Knights, so that's one thing. That's a heavy cav that will be very good against my troops. Though again, Sacreds will grind against them. The two things that I'm mostly worried about is Take Crossbowmen and Hochland Jägers just growing to unreasonable numbers, and I would just buckle under crossbow volleys. Again, dwarf super slow, it's a big problem. They do have their like tributes as well. I have no idea. We'll see how we're gonna go. It's kind of similar to the other, not the Empire. The Empire Nation in general have like these things where just give a bunch of troops and like cracked hero. Itza is first and foremost a late game powerhouse with these lands, right? But for early into the mid game, it's absolutely going to be Stegan Riders that can crush me. Just massive trampling. It's not size 10. That's funny. So it can be trampled by elephant. But yeah, these things very, very scary because of the trampling. Oh, I see. I'm looking at the thing. Okay, 80 hit points is a lot to chew through. High protection, that's the thing, right? For the trample, it's really substantial. With a slash resistance. So at least that's where we get around of it with the freaking plant damage. Other than that, Croxigors can hit hard, but they don't have great stats other than that. And I think I said that twice. Sour Scav, respectable, not very heavily armored, so it should be fine too. Now, for the actual scariest, Khorne will fucking destroy me. Especially if he goes for some heavy Chosen Warrior Bless. Yeah, these guys will carve through their own guard if they get more attack. Nothing I can do about it. Chaos Nations are the strongest in the mod. Heavy armor too, so it's gonna take a while to chew through them, giving them berserking, so super spooked about Khorne. I hope they will not go after me first. Again, ridiculously good Chaos Knight Cav that can turn into Juggernauts. I'm not that worried about Juggernauts compared to Chosen Warriors just because they're 2 holy points to recruit. Will be easier to surround and bring down than just absolute murdering power of Chaos Warriors. But you know, if he'll be getting Chaos Knights that will advance to Chosen Knights, yeah, that's also an issue. Basically everything is here just outvalues my troops. Marauders will outvalue the basic Dwarf Infantry. Chaos Warrior basically kill everything except of my Sacreds. Maybe, and of course Iron Breakers, but again, this is not I'm not gonna be relying on Iron Breakers particularly much. I just don't have resources to recruit them. Chaos Ogres, same thing. So this will be brutal. At least on the Department of Magic, it's not particularly scary. Later on, of course, super combatants of various taste, but super combatants do not worry me. Dwarves can deal with any STs perfectly fine. It's the troops. Tzeentch, slightly less scary than Khorne, but also terrifying, mainly because Chosen Knights are the sacred to be afraid of if they get blessed for them. They also have True Sight, so they negate my blur. But yeah, again, these guys can maybe into just exceptional heavy cav that doesn't die between armor, high defense, very killy. Warriors, they can be pain as well, especially if he goes a lot of strength. This cast fire that can also go into melee will just punch through my fire resistant anyways, unless maybe, you know, I buff it with spells. It's gonna be mid game where I can increase my fire res to 10. But yeah, less worried about these, more worried about these. Same thing about more others as with Khorne. They can basically really outvalue gold wise my troops. Yeah, Chaos Warriors, same story. So yeah, and of course, contrary to Khorne, they can actually get really freaking good mages. You know, one of the things that they have, being Astral, doesn't worry me because I have a lot of magic weapon access, but yeah, they have also Glamour and yeah, that I can cast a lot of spooky stuff. And finally, Dark Elves, also pretty scary. They have some. First of all, they are Blood Nation for the late game, so that's that. With mix of Astral, so again, less of an issue. I hope they can go after somebody else. They do have, again, very good heavy cap that will struggle against. Not as heavily armored. There's some other options we've seen, but still very deadly. The cold ones are far killier than any horse. Exceptional heavy cap. I did experiment with Dark Elves a little bit some time ago, and they just expand wonderful with those. They have some kamikaze missiles in form of Doomfire Warlocks that can Doomfire. This is Banefire essentially, so yeah, resistances go away and it's area of effect. So yeah, these can absolutely just kamikaze into my Rune Guard and it will hurt. Some scary bless for Witch Elves, definitely choose from my regular infantry, maybe not so much through my Rune Guard again, but finally the last piece that truly terrifies me for Dark Elves are whatever flavor of repeater crossbows they will go with. The sheer volume of crossbow balls that will be falling on my Rune Guard if I go against Dark Elves, at least I expect it, will be just very unpleasant. It doesn't matter I have a good shield and good armor. It's just the sheer volume will outroll me. And with combat speed of 6, it's gonna be a while before I cut through the front line and get to them. It's yeah, crossbows are very scary. That's why these guys are not good for me to use. So let's hope for some nice easy cap circle in the next turn. And yeah, I'll see you next time. Bye bye. Welcome back. Alright, so let's go through the proclamations. Ronnie Dio. Okay. And the god is Elf who she stole. She who stole. I'm not sure what type of rock band this is. Johnny Rotten Bones. Living. Okay. Slapping sound. Die Juicy Chicks Club. Man, I'm so bad with rock band names, I guess. Mine are rather obvious. And that's the team, by the way, of course. Just Scapbank. The biggest, the greenest. Okay, here somebody didn't pay attention that we're doing a naming convention. Bonnie Blar, okay. Gaskull Tracker. I guess obviously this is a Warhammer character. Warhammer 40k. I don't think Rascal exists in fantasy. Maybe he does. If he does, I forgot. Yeah, Middenheim. I'm not gonna comment on that. Modern day politics. The slant tolls for D, okay. For whom the slant tolls? Metallica, okay. Kill and maim. Hiss, cool. Paul. Wings, light giver of heaven. Just wings. Paul wings, okay. Fear the dark. Paul, Iron Maiden. And yeah, wait, let's see. Khorne. Right, so we're continuing recruitment of Resident apprentices, more Rune Guard. We have spotted that our cap circle is rather pleasant. So we see that 100 income here, 162, but this one is, yeah, this one can be taken with Rune Guard, no problem, but it's pretty deadly for the starting army. Yeah, this one is also pretty easy. Rune Guards again, very easy here. Decent resources here. I don't know the resources of these two, so, and also these two are probably harder than militia. Maybe not. Archers, militia. They don't have infantry. It comes down to numbers. Bird tribe might be easier at a fewer numbers like this. So the formation is like this. Clans, dwarves, Nebak, hold and attack. Prophet, word of power. And this is my little bit of a gimmick with crossbows in the front, sparse line formation. Basically what it does, at least I believe it does that. It lowers the priority on them from enemy archers. At least that's kind of what I observed and what I believe. It might not be the case, you know, there's a lot under the hood of Dominus that's not exactly clear. But I do believe that archers tend to prioritize, of course, lower armor, but also denser formations. So because my clan dwarves will be much denser than the crossbows, despite having shields and better armor, they are still likely to get targeted. So that's how I want to do it. Sparse formation, again, lowers the density. And even if they get targeted, you know, the missing arrows will not be hitting squares nearby. And yeah, and also Clansword can just pass through. Basically, the line of contact should happen about here with the enemy troops arriving, so we'll see that next turn. And here I'm going underground to hopefully find something easy there as well. Okay, that would be it for this turn, and I'll talk to you next one. Bye bye. Welcome back. Let's see. How did the fight go? Well, I know how did it go, but let's present it in a nice way. So, quite a few militia, archers, really nothing scary. Let's see, I don't remember, did archers start shooting crossbows? Yes, they have. Yeah, as you can see, it's not very effective, but unfortunately the militia here decide to go after them. It's actually kind of unlucky because I did quite a few expansion tests and basically they almost never got on top of militia, on top of crossbows. It looks like they just spawned very much forward this time. So I suppose I will just move them one row back and it will be better. Yeah, a little bit unfortunate actually. So because I lost two crossbows, that's kind of sucks actually. But well, it's not like the expansion will be ever lossless with dwarves. All right. Looks like Steam is, of course, waking up right now, but no matter. One thing I didn't show up is my research is going to be like this: enchantment free, construction free, conjuration free. The reason for that is protection of Valaya and gift of giant strength here. In construction, ideally thunderers, later on Hydron Drakes, because I'll be trying to get to construction 7 first after, you know, the initial goals to get lanterns out. Just to supercharge that research a little bit like WOM would do. I don't know if it's valid anymore, because, you know, back in Dominion 5, when it was Construction 6, it was so much better to just, if you were able to, of course, if you could get away without other schools of magic, Freaking construction sim is so late. I really, again, I said it many times, I'll be repeating, I really hate the change of making items. And after that, Conjuration 3, mainly for Earth Power, Phoenix Power, those are the two big ones. Yeah, there isn't really anything else we'll be using. I mean, those are really big ones, to be fair, but... So we're giving ourselves nice 15 resources from these, 41 resources here, so we can actually get 4 full Rune Guard with Priestess of Valaya. This is going to be expansion party now. And I already was pinged on Discord from Ballin that Ballin sees me, so of course he does. I wonder if he's gonna rush me. I think he's expanding with Titan of Crossroads, and he did like triple expansion turn 1 or 2, something like that, something crazy. So, I mean, I don't think he can take my cap because a lot of crossbows, including, you know, actually useful thing with the, you know, when you don't have to recruit heavy crossbows, they're pretty good, especially if someone wants to send a Titan at you. But yeah. As for the expansion, this is not looking good. Heavy cap here, heavy cap here. The warriors don't hold up against heavy cap, not at all. Here, on the other hand, we've got garments. So that's pretty fantastic, actually. I will have to think if I want to send the initial Valaya here, the priestess here, or and grab the garments, or try to slower and move here only with the next batch that will have 10 of these. Actually, maybe I want to change something. So I want to... I'm kind of tempted to get Journeyman already. A little bit greedy, potentially. What's my income? 466. So that's 5 is 300. 300, we're gonna have 150 extra, 160. This is 165. Actually, we should have enough for queuing another priestess afterwards. If that's what I just do. Alternatively, we're just gonna go. Oh, plus we hopefully will get this province. I kind of want to start as early site searching as possible, especially if it's gonna give me like free stuff. So let's do that. Very greedy. Again, this is the grid play, the grid build. So let's go with that. But yeah, thank you so much for watching, and I'll talk to you next time. Bye bye.